What's up guys, Deck Kitten here, and today I'm going to be showing you my finalised Bravo Blitz deck profile for the upcoming Skirmish Season 4. So while I won't be able to participate in any of the Skirmish events, I still thought I'd share with you my deck profile, especially because I've been seeing some other deck profiles on the internet that, for Bravo and Blitz, that to be frank I'm not so sure I agree with. Maybe that they may work out. I'm interested to see which style of gameplay for Bravo does work out by the end of the Skirmish season, but anyway, here's my take on it. Feel free to use this if you're playing in a skirmish. Doubt that's going to happen, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to get right into it with the equipment and heroes. So starting things off, just move those to the side. We have Bravo, main hero. This is just a regular common. My local armory, the cold foil ones, we did the Welcome to Wraith event and they never got there, so that's a bit disappointing. But anyway, 4 intellect, 20 health, and a young guardian hero, and you can, as an action, you can pay 2 resources and give your attack action card with cost 3 or greater dominate until end of turn, and then you get to go again off of that. So it's really useful. If you have like a Crippling Crush or a Spinal Crush with a Seismic Surge, you can use 3 blues for the Crippling, 2 blues for the Spinal, give them Dominate, and then get some guaranteed, almost guaranteed Crush effects, because they could always have a defense reaction from Arsenal. When I had this deck, when I was playing it without the Tectonic Plating, I would use this ability to filter resources and cards on my first turn, and I will also use the ability to filter stuff and get stuff in my pitch for Anathos if I had 2 blues, which would turn on Anathos in my hand, and where else to put them. I'd just use that for Bravo to get 6 damage, so that's interesting, but you're not going to be doing that because if you don't have Tectonic Plating, you really shouldn't be playing this deck. There's much better decks to play. This only has 2 legendaries, the way you should be playing optimized, but the way some decks you only need 1, or you can make a budget version of this one without the Tectonic Plating. It really struggles a lot. Next thing, have the weapon Anathos. So it's a hammer, which is relevant for Pummel. It has once per turn action, you can pay 3 resources and attack for 4, but also has +2 attack if you have 2 or more cards that cost 3 or greater in your pitch. So that puts it up to 6. So it's great with Tectonic Plating, great with Pummel. Pummel will pump it up to 10. Great weapon. You need this. I've seen some lists playing the slightly weaker Titan's Fist. Not Titan's Fist. Whatever it was called. That equipment. And then the Null Rune Lantern, so you can get Arcane Barrier 5 when playing against Kano. I just personally don't think it's worth it. This is too crucial to your strategy, because even if you only have 1 blue, this has an important breakpoint of 4 attack. So if you've got your opponent down to 1, they're going to have to invest 2 cards, a card and an equipment, to blocking it, and I think that's really crucial. Base equipment. This should be an Arcanite Skullcap. I don't have one. I'm trying to get one, but this should be a Skullcap. If you don't have a Skullcap, play the Helm of Iceland's Peak. You're not going to use the ability, you're just going to block with it, and the Skullcap's better at that. This is the legendary equipment you will be needing though, Tectonic Plating. So this is absolutely crucial to the deck. Also got the Seismic Surge tokens. Block for 2 with Battle Worn, so it can block for 3 throughout the course of a game. And once per turn, as an action, you can pay a resource to create a Seismic Surge and go again. And what the Seismic Surge does is at the beginning of your action phase, you destroy it, and then your next Guardian attack action costs 1 less. So it's really good, for example, for a card like Spinal Crush, which costs 5, you can, on 1 turn, make a Seismic and then swing the hammer, and then on another turn you got Spinal Crush, 2 blues and the Seismic will turn Spinal Crush to cost 4, and then you can use Bravo to give it Dominate, which is really nice. Also the Seismic can let you just play a non-dominated Crippling Crush for 6. Also that's you get guaranteed 6 with your hammer every turn, and in case you draw a really good hand like Crippling Crush 3 blues, Spinal 2 blues, you have that Seismic there, so you can make sure to get that good turn. Alright, next we have Crater Fist. This card has blocks for 2 and has temper. The ability doesn't matter. It'll soak up 3 points. Finally, here is my main leg equipment. It's Mage Master Boots. Some people will play Iron Rot legs. I think they're good in something where maybe, for example, you may need them to block Kadachi against Katsu, or a Spectral Shield against Prism, but in reality, the Mage Master boots are better. The reason we have these in here is because they block for 0, but you can have an action, you can pay a resource and destroy them to give your next non-attack action this turn, go again and go again. So we use that with the Tome of Finalised to gain a lot of life and then play a big turn if we play the Tome from our arsenal. Okay, so that's the main 4 equipment, 1 weapon, then 1 hero, so that's the main 6. So now I'll go into the 6 cards over my sideboard for this. So first of all, we have our 4 Null Rune pieces. Versus Kano, you can probably go to Null Rune 4 or Null Rune 3 and keep the plating in. Time Skippers versus Prism, this is really useful to help destroy Prism's auras. And finally we have the Iron Rot Legs. I don't really think you'll be bringing this in though, to be honest. So I'll just click at the start, there's our main equipment loadout. And now let's move on to the deck. So 40 card Blitz constructed. So starting things off, here are your main win conditions outside of your hammer in red. So starting off, you have 2 Crippling Crush, which is 7 cost, Bravo Specialization, block for 3, as most of the cards in this deck will, 11 attack, and if it does 4 more damage to the hero, they discard 2 cards at random. So 7 costs, 3 blues in this, as I said before. Dominate, 11 from your hero. Spinal Crush, the other big crush attack we're playing in here. Because it completely destroys ninja decks or prism decks or any deck that's trying to really get go again. Dash, but I bet even something like Datadog could win against Dash. Blitz is not very good. So, speaking of Spinal Crush, so it costs 5 for a red, blocks 3 and has 9 attack. And if it deals 4 more damage to a hero, their action cards, activated abilities and attacks, they control lose and can't go again. So that's why it's so crucial it stops go again. So as I said before, if you have a Seismic Surge, this will cost 4. You can use this plus 2 blues to swing it with Dominate using your hero for 9, really useful. Next, we have Zealous Belting. I've seen some people playing red Crush Confidence over this card or in as a part of the main reds. I think it's a bad card, red Crush Confidence. I do not think it's good as some of the other cards you can be playing. I'd much rather be playing a 3 block, 6+ attack, 3 pitch, blue card than red Crush Confidence in here. That's my opinion, that's what I found from a bit of testing. Yeah, so Zealous Belting, blocks for 2 unfortunately. I think we only have 5 cards in our deck that block for 2. But it costs 5 attack and it costs 2 as well, and it has go again while there's a card in your pitch zone with attack greater than Zealous Belting's base attack. So as you can see, I've constructed the blues in this deck to make sure we have enough. So I'll just flick through all the blues that will turn Zealous Belting on. Remember, you only need 1 of these. So we have 14 blues in our deck that will give this go again. So you're usually going to get there. Yeah, it's a really good card. 3 card hand with 2 blues, one of which at least 1 will turn this on. And Anathos does 11, Zealous Belting for 5, Anathos for 6. You can also make a Seismic, which is really nice. So you can pummel the Zealous Belting, that make them discard a card. Speaking of which, 2 copies of pummel, attack reaction, 2 cost, and you get to choose 1. So you give target club or hammer weapon attack plus 4 attack, or target attack action card with cost 2 or greater 4 attack, and if it hits hero, they discard a card. You can really use this in conjunction with Anathos to make a swing in for 10, which is really nice. Okay, so there's our main attack. So we have 8 main red attacks, in addition to we can pitch stuff for our hammer. So this deck is more of a controlling deck. I think Bravo and Blitz is meant to be played as a more controlling deck. I'm a big fan of control decks as well, in Magic and now in Flesh and Blood. So yeah, main attacks here in red. Okay, so next things we have the Wrestler Reds. We have 4 more reds. This is basically our life gain package in red. So you have 2 Sigil of Solace, instant 0 cost gain, 3 life. Great, amazing card, love it. 2 Blessing of Deliverance. So this blocks for 3, pitches 1 because it's a red, costs 2 and it's got go again. But when you play it, if it has a card with cost, when it enters the arena, if you have a card with cost 3 or greater in your pitch zone, you get to draw a card, so which is really good. Also at the start of your turn, so the next turn after you're going to be playing the Blessing, You pop it and then reveal the top 3, and you gain 1 life for each card that costs 3 or greater revealed this way. So usually you're going to gain 2 or sometimes 3 if you're lucky, which is nice. So it just gains you a bit of life. You can draw you a card. You can also use this. Say you have this and a blue. You pitch the blue, play the blessing, draw a card, use the remaining resource, make it seismic, pitch the blue that you hopefully drew, swing with the hammer, or just ask for the card that you drew. So it's really, really handy just for a turn. It does add a bit of variance. As I said, I like to make my decks as low variance as possible, but this is too good of a card to not be playing just because it has a bit of variance involved. Yellows, Tome of Final. We'll use this in conjunction with our Mage Master boots. Blocks for 2 and it pitches for 2. You're not going to really be pitching it. It costs 1 and it says draw 2 cards as an action, but also if it was played from Arsenal, you gain a life for each card in your hand. So it's really good with Mage Master boots when you can give it a go again. You can gain back some life and then pivot into a big turn if you got lucky with your draws, or otherwise just swim with the hammer and make a seismic Arsenal pass and you're good to go there. So this is the only yellow we're playing, but it's basically a red because we're not going to be pitching it. On to the blues. So we're playing 27 blues on yellow and 12 reds. I'm a big fan of playing lots of blues. Blues are resource cards. We're only going to be playing a few of these, and I'll go through those at the end. But right now, I'm just going to be showing you the resource cards. So these are the ones which will turn on Zealous Belting. So before I start, all of these blues block for 3 as well. I don't play Rouse of the Ancients. I don't like how it blocks for 2, and I think it's too inconsistent. It blocking for 2 and too inconsistently comes together. That's worth playing. I have seen some people playing with Pulverize. I tried out Pulverize. It's not very consistent. I'm not a fan of the card. I did manage to play it, but I got lucky that my opponent drew a bad hand and I was able to heave it and then play it with the extra seismics. But I'm not a fan of Pulverize. I'm still not a fan of it, even with Rouse the Ancients. 1 card, turn on Rouse the Ancients, 7 is have go again. Just not a fan of it. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. So let's go on to the blues that can turn on Zealous Belting. As I said, I'm pretty sure there's 14 of these. So we have 2 Thunderquakes, 2 Macho Grande, 2 Cranial Crush, 2 Disable, 2 Debilitate, 2 Buckling Blow, and finally 2 Chokeslam. So yeah, I counted correctly, there's 14 of these. Cool. Alright, next let's go on to the other resource cards. So first of all, here are my only 3 other resource cards that are attacks, because as you know, Kasai is relatively good, very good in Blitz at the moment even, and the Centauri Sabers, they get +1 when they are blocked by an attack action. So we need these attack actions to turn on Zealous Belting, but these are the other 3 blues that we're going to be playing that are attacks. The rest of these are all non-attacks. So we have 2 Last Ditch Effort. You may play this if it's really fatiguey, but probably not. And then 1 Thump, because I don't think any more of these cards with 6 attack, 3 block for a pitch exist. I'll have as many of them as I can, and Thump is just good because if you can pummel it, you're happy if you can pummel it. And the other blue attacks with that turn on your hammer do not have that fringe case scenario, the ones that we're not already playing in the 6+ attack section. Non-attack actions. Okay, so here's the ones you're probably not going to be playing. Oh, these are just resource. 2 Showtime, 2 Towering Titan, and then Nerves of Steel you may play occasionally, but you're probably not going to be playing it. Basically what it does is it's an aura that costs 3, and when it enters the arena you remove a -1 counter from a chest equipment, which is going to be your, -1 defense from your plating. Battle Worn and Temper on equipment you control don't trigger if it defends an attack with 2 or less block. When your hero is dealt damage, destroy Nerves of Steel. Initially I misread this card slightly. I thought that you could continually block and block and block during the same turn with your stuff, but I realised very quickly that the Battle Worn and Temper only trigger when the combat chain closes. So when you're dealt damage, this gets popped. So if you it's only good really against Ninja and something like that. And if they even get one hit through, it's gone, and then your combat chain will close, and then the equipment will get the Battle Worn and Temper counters, which is unfortunate. So I just play it as a resource card. Very, very rarely will come up. The blues that we're actually going to play, first off, 2 Stamp Authority. 3 cost, 3 pitch, 3 block. When it ends the arena, if you have 2 or more cards in your pitch zone with cost 3 or greater, easy to accomplish with tectonic plating. Your hero gains +1 intellect until end of turn, meaning you'll drop to 5 at the end of the turn. Whilst in the arena, attack action cards effects not trigger when they hit. Good for stuff like Command and Conquer. And at the beginning of your action phase, destroy. So you can play this out if you're pretty sure your opponent's going to be playing Command and Conquer, or against Benji, something like Spring Tidings. I'm pretty sure that's when it hits. But yeah, they're both prevalent cards in the meta game right now. Also, the +1 intellect's nice to help refill your hand. And finally, the main blue that we're going to play is Terra Sunder. I love this card. Basically turns your Anathos into a mini Crippling Crush. Costs 3 block, 3 pitch, 3 cost. Guardian action. Your next Guardian attack this turn gets +1 attack, dominate, and if it hits the hero, they discard 2 cards. So they discard the 2 cards of their choice. It's not quite as good as Crippling Crush. Has go again. So you basically have a 3-card hand with this. You have 2 blues and this. So you pitch a blue, play this, pitch a blue, swing with a hammer for 7, dominate. If it hits, they discard 2 cards. So very nice. Alright, well that's it. That's 40 cards. And I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know if you give this a go. Let me know if you've got any feedback or stuff in the comments, and I'll hopefully be making some more Flesh and Blood and hopefully some Magic videos soon. Anyway, yep, enjoy the Skirmish season, and I'll see you soon. Bye.